horses dancing over the snare, bass walking like tires on an open road. The engine turns over. Let's go. Got dust on my boots and a map folded wrong, half a tank of gasoline and an old soul song. The dashboard's cracked, the AC barely works, but this old Chevy still knows how to carry hurt. I've crossed state lines trying to outrun regret, only to discover you can't outrun yourself still. There are worse ways to spend a life than chasing the horizon. Every mile took something from me, every mile gave something back. I've got dust on my boots, sunlight in my eyes, a few more scars, a little more wise. I don't need all the answers, I don't need applause, just a road beneath these tires and a reason to pause. Dust on my boots, still moving on. Met a waitress down in Tulsa who called everyone darling. Said, honey, life gets heavy, don't forget to laugh. Saw two kids fishing off a bridge in Tennessee. Thought about how wonder comes so naturally. Bought peaches at a roadside stand, talked baseball with a stranger. Funny how small conversations can rearrange a day. Maybe joy ain't complicated, maybe we've complicated joy. The older I get, the slower I drive, not because I'm afraid, because I finally notice things. I've got dust on my boots, stories in these hands, 1,000 little detours I never could have planned. I don't curse the wrong turns or the dreams I had to lose. Some of the best parts of my life came from roads I didn't choose. Dust on my boots and gratitude too. If I meet my younger self at some forgotten gas station, he'll ask, did we make it? And I'll tell him, we loved deeply, we messed up, we started over more than once. We learned how to apologize, we learned how to stay soft. And somewhere along the way, we learned that arriving was never the point. I've got dust on my boots, but peace in my chest. I stopped measuring my life by who had more or less. I still got songs to sing, still got skies to cross. And if tomorrow calls me onward, I won't count the cost. Dust on my boots, silver in my hair, love inside my memory, and a little hope to chasing wonder. Dust on my boots, still thankful for the ride. The tenor sax trades westward. The windows are rolled down. Warm summer air fills the car. A man taps the steering wheel, smiling at nothing in particular. The road keeps unfolding, and for once, he isn't trying to get anywhere. He's just happy to be here.
Hammond organ smiles through the speakers. The bass starts walking. A guitar lick answers like an old friend. The coffee's hot, the rent is due, and somehow life still sounds pretty good. Woke up this morning, checked my jeans on the chair, found $14, a grocery list, and a little bit of prayer. The landlord wants his payment, the truck needs fixing too, but the sun came through the kitchen window like it always seems to do. I poured the last of the coffee, turned an old soul record on, started dancing with my shadow like I hadn't done in so long. I used to think I needed more to finally feel alive. Then life kept taking things away, and somehow it gave me clearer eyes. It's an empty pocket, hallelujah, hands lifted to the sky. I may not have much money, but I still got reasons why. A roof above, a song to sing, a couple good friends to call, a heart still beating in my chest, Lord, that's something after all. Empty pocket, hallelujah, I guess I'm richer than I thought. Miss Annie at the corner market asked about my old guitar. Said, Benny, when you gonna make it? I laughed and pointed at my heart. A little girl held the door for me, then skipped away in the rain. Funny how the smallest kindness can rearrange your day. I bought tomatoes and cheap bread, talked weather with a stranger, realized happiness rarely arrives looking like we imagined. Maybe abundance isn't having everything, maybe it's noticing everything you've had all along. It's an empty pocket, hallelujah, thankful for the view, for every second chance I've had, and all I still can do. For old blue jeans, for Sunday calls, for laughter in the dark, for all the ordinary miracles that stitch together this old heart. Empty pocket, hallelujah, still enough to praise. chasing every bigger dream, thinking joy lives somewhere else, in bigger houses, bigger crowds, bigger applause. But these days, give me coffee with a friend, give me music in the kitchen, give me one more sunrise, give me somebody to love, and I'll call myself blessed. Oh, it's an empty pocket, hallelujah, singing through the years, for every mountain climbed and every valley filled with tears. I don't need perfection, I don't need it all. I got gratitude, a stubborn soul, and a God who answers small. Empty pocket, hallelujah. Silver in my hair, a little older, a little slower, but still finding beauty everywhere. Empty pocket, hallelujah. What a life, what a life, what a life. What a life, what a life. The coffee cup sits empty, the record keeps spinning. The man checks his wallet once more. $14, he smiles, turns the music up a little louder, and sings along anyway, because joy was never waiting at the finish line. It was always here, in this tiny apartment, on this ordinary morning, inside this grateful heart. Ice settles into a glass, a lazy guitar riff drifts through cigarette smoke. The jukebox hums somewhere in the corner. Another Friday night, another empty stool. Bartender still keeps your favorite bourbon up on the highest shelf. Says he can't bring himself to move it, even after all this time. Tommy's chair sits by the window. Nobody likes sitting there. Funny how absence leaves fingerprints on ordinary air. The jukebox played that oldest record, the one you'd always sing too loud. You never knew the right words, but that never stopped you somehow. We thought we'd have forever, more nights and one more round. Nobody ever tells you which laugh will be the last one. Here's to the good whiskey memories, the ones that never fade, to all the midnight conversations conversations and promises we made. We weren't saints, we weren't heroes, just trying to survive. But Lord, you made this old world better just by being alive. Good whiskey memories still pour a little strong. You taught me how to change a tire, how to lose without shame, how to say I was wrong without dying from pride. You showed up after my divorce with cheap beer and bad advice. Said, brother, hearts heal slower, but they do. You were right. Now every time I tell that story, people laugh the way you did. And for a moment, you're back in the room again. Maybe grief isn't forgetting, maybe it's learn how to smile before the tears arrive. Here's to the good whiskey memories, the songs we sang off key, to all the foolish dreams we chased and who we used to be. We grew older, lost our hair, collected aches and scars, but friendship made us millionaires without expensive cars. Good whiskey memories still warming up the dark. If heaven's got a neighborhood bar, I know exactly where you'll be, arguing baseball, telling stories twice, buying the first round for somebody standing alone. And if they ask you about me, tell them I'm doing alright. Tell them I'm still singing. Tell them I'll be there eventually. Here's to the good whiskey memories, the ones I carry home, to every shoulder that held me up when I couldn't stand alone. For every joke, every road trip, every hard-earned piece of truth, I wouldn't trade a single moment, not even for my youth. Good whiskey memories, raise your glass up high to the friends we've lost, to the friends still here, to the beautiful mess of staying human. Good whiskey memories never really die. The tenor sax beneath the roads, the guitar answers softly. The bartender wipes down the counter, someone laughs in the back of the room. A glass is raised toward an empty chair, no one says a word, no one has to, because love between friends doesn't disappear. It settles into stories, into songs, into Friday nights, and into the taste of one good whiskey memory. I've slept in motel rooms with neon on the walls, heard midnight trains and highway calls. I've chased the moon through 1,000 towns, wore out my shoes trying to settle down. But all those roads and all those years, all the laughter, all the tears, never gave me what I found the first time you reached out. Some people build houses, some people build dreams. You built a quiet place in me. You got a hands like home, steady and warm, holding on my restless pieces through every passing storm. Hands like home, gentle and true. I spent half my life searching, then I found you. No grand cathedral, no kingdom of gold, just hands like home for this tired soul. You know the stories I don't tell, the little scars I hide so well. You know the nights I lose my sleep, the promises I couldn't keep. Still you pour the coffee slow, smile and say we'll make it through. Lord, I never understood grace until it looked like you. You've taught me passion, age taught me trust. Love became less about fire and more about us. You got a hands like home, steady and warm, holding on my broken hallelujahs, safe from harm. Hands like home, faithful and true. I stopped looking for forever the day I found you. No shining skyline, no silver throne, just hands like home that lead me home. One day these hands will wrinkle, one day they'll tremble too, but I pray they still find mine the way they always do. When words grow harder to remember, when the years move slow, hold me close and remind me of everything we know. That love ain't loud, it doesn't always shine. Sometimes love is simply your fingers wrapped in mine. You got hands like home, soft against the night, teaching this old wandering heart everything worth getting right. Hands like home, after all I've been through, I finally understand what people mean by true. No grand finale, no perfect role, just hands like home when the nights grow cold. Hands like home, still choosing me. my sweetest memory. If heaven lets us keep the best things that we've known, I hope I find you waiting with those hands like home. I was standing under broken signs, midnight, closing time. Rain was running down my coat, I had nowhere left to go. The city looked right through my eyes, everybody rushing by. I was carrying more than I could hold, trying hard not to let it show. Then a stranger said, "You all right, my friend?" Like kindness wasn't something rare. Funny how salvation sometimes doesn't arrive with angels. Sometimes it wears work boots, smells like coffee and cigarette smoke. Oh, neon mercy, shining through the blue, showing up in little ways when I needed you. A borrowed smile, a simple chair, someone saying, "Stay a while." Neon mercy lightened up the dark, reminding me this world still keeps some goodness in its heart. He bought me eggs and black coffee, talked about his kids back home, said he lost a brother last spring and some nights still felt alone. We didn't solve the world's problems, didn't heal each other's scars, but for 45 small minutes we forgot who lonely was. Outside the rain kept falling, inside the jukebox played, and somehow that ordinary kindness made the fear drift away. Maybe hope isn't loud, maybe grace doesn't shout, maybe love is simply noticing when someone needs a hand. Oh, neon mercy, soft against the rain, meeting tired souls exactly where they're standing in their pain. A cup of coffee, a listening ear, a reason not to disappear. Neon mercy, bright against the night, teaching broken hearts to trust. There's still a little light. I used to think changing the world meant doing something grand. Now I think it starts much smaller, holding the door, making the call, remembering a name, sitting beside someone who doesn't want to sit alone. Maybe heaven touches earth more often than we know. Oh, neon mercy, still guiding me home. struggling to be brave.
Neon mercy,
Burning clear and true. I needed saving that night. Maybe so did you. The sign outside kept flickering. The rain finally slowed. A stranger paid the check, pulled his jacket tight, and disappeared into the city. I never learned his name, but every time I see a neon light glow through the darkness, I remember the world can still be kind. Found an old cardboard box today, tucked away behind the stairs. Dust on the corners, faded tape. 30 years of borrowed air. Sinatra in a paper sleeve. Otis worn around the edge. A little crack inside beat, like promises we never said. I set the needle down real slow, heard the static breathe again. Funny how a song can open doors you thought had long since closed. The years keep moving forward, but music has its ways. It gathers all our yesterdays and lets them dance again. Old records spin round and round, turning heartache into harmony, lifting lost things off the ground. Old records spin like they always do, carrying pieces of who we were back into the room. The world keeps changing, but some songs know where we've been. Old records spin, and so do we. This one takes me to a summer porch, Mama humming in the kitchen light, Daddy tapping on the tabletop, trying to sing the chorus right. That one sounds like your laughter, dancing barefoot in the hall. Another brings back Friday nights when we thought we'd outlive it all. The smallest melody can stop a grown man in his tracks, and for 3 minutes and 20 seconds give him something back. I used to think nostalgia was just another way to grieve. Now I think it's gratitude for all the things we got to keep. Old records spin round and round, teaching tired hearts how to settle down. Old records spin, scratches and all, still making beauty so do we. One day somebody younger will find these songs we leave behind. They'll laugh at how we dressed, wonder what was on our minds. But maybe they'll hear the truth hidden beneath every refrain, that people have always needed music to survive, the way to being human, to remember, to forgive, to begin again. All records spin under midnight blue, for the friends we've loved, for the dreams that carry through. All records spin steady as the stars, holding every version of who we really are. No, life don't stop just because the years roll in. The needle finds the groove again. Old records spin. Old records spin. And this old heart still sings with them. I lift the needle from the vinyl. The room falls quiet but not empty, because somewhere inside me, Mama's still humming, you're still laughing, the boys are still raising glasses, and another song is waiting in the stack. Used to think dreams had an age limit, a line you crossed and left them behind. Trade your wonder for a wristwatch, punch the clock and fall in line. I believe what people told me, son, be careful what you chase. But somewhere deep inside this old heart, a little fire kept its place. Now my hair's gone silver and my knees complain at night, but I've still got a few wild wishes folded up inside. Funny how growing older didn't shrink the sky above. It just taught me which dreams matter and which ones are made of love. I got a pocket full of stars, still carrying them around. Little pieces of tomorrow I refuse to put down. Some call it foolish, some call it hope. I call it the reason I still get up and go. A pocket full of stars tucked close to my heart. You don't stop believing just because life gets hard. There's a guitar by the window I still haven't learned to play just right. A trip to New Orleans on my list, a dance beneath city lights. I'd like to see the ocean again, taste coffee somewhere new, tell my grandchildren stories about the things I almost didn't do. There's a woman I should call more often, a friend I owe a beer, 100 little dreams still breathing after all these years. Not every dream needs headlines or crowds that scream your name. Some dreams simply whisper, keep going just the same. I got a pocket full of stars, still shining through the seams. Tiny acts of courage, disguised as ordinary dreams. To love a little deeper, to laugh a little more, to leave this world a little brighter than it was before. A pocket full of stars, enough to light the dark, enough to guide an old man home when he forgets where to start. I spend years collecting worries, thinking that's what grown men do, measuring my worth by deadlines, trying hard to see things through. But somewhere along the journey, I finally understood the opposite of aging isn't staying young, but staying curious, still saying yes, still falling in love with life in 100 different ways. I got a pocket full of stars, and I'm not giving them away. Not to fear, not to doubt, not to what people say. There's still music left inside me, still sunsets I ain't seen, still hands to hold, still jokes to tell, still reasons to believe. A pocket full of stars, right against the years, proof that hope grows stronger when you've cried 1,000 tears. A pocket full of stars, still teaching me to dream. And maybe that's the miracle, not that life stayed easy, but that this old heart never stopped looking up. Tonight I'll empty my pockets onto the kitchen table, a grocery receipt, a few loose coins, my reading glasses, and a lifetime of impossible little dreams still asking to be lived. I smile, fold them back into my coat, and save them for tomorrow. I drove back through my hometown on an afternoon in July, past the old Texaco station and the church with peeling white. The barber shop was empty, the movie house had closed, but the oak tree by the courthouse still stretched toward the gold. I walked down Maple Avenue, where we carved our names in you. Funny how the smallest places still remember you. Time doesn't ask permission. It changes everything it sees. But somehow grace survives in ordinary memories. From ashes in July, new flowers still grow. After all the fire, the heart still knows. I've buried dreams, I've buried friends, watched old certainties fall apart. But life keeps whispering softly, don't stop now. You've still got a heart. Ashes in July, beneath the summer sky. Miss Clara waved from her front porch, said, "Benny, you've been gone too long." She laughed about our younger days and sang an old Hank Williams song. A little boy rode past on bicycles, no fear inside his grin. Made me remember how hope begins again and again. I bought coffee at the corner store, sat beneath the afternoon sun, thinking maybe healing isn't something we outrun. Maybe broken things aren't failures, maybe scars can teach us grace. Maybe losing everything once makes you cherish what remains. From ashes in July, new flowers still bloom. Even after heartbreak makes a home inside the room. I've carried sorrow, carried joy, and both have shaped this soul. But life keeps singing softly, you're not finished. You've still got roads to go. Ashes in July, still glowing in the smoke. If I could speak to every version of me, the reckless boy, the stubborn man, the tired soul learning to breathe, I'd say, you don't have to be fearless, you don't have to get it right, just keep showing up. Because some miracles don't arrive like thunder, they arrive quietly, like finding beauty in a town you thought you'd outgrown. In July, I've learned to bless the rain, to thank the nights of loneliness for teaching me my name. I've lost more than I imagined, loved deeper than I knew. And if tomorrow calls me onward, I'll go with gratitude. From ashes in July, still burns with light, and this old heart keeps choosing to believe in life. Ashes in July, ashes in July, still teaching me how to bloom. Teaching me how to bloom. cicadas sing outside. I drove back through my hometown. I drove back through my hometown on an afternoon in July, past the old Texaco station and the church with peeling white. The barber shop was empty, the movie house had closed, but the oak tree by the courthouse still stretched toward the gold. I walked down Maple Avenue, where we carved our names in youth. Funny how the smallest places still remember you. Time doesn't ask permission, it changes everything it sees, but somehow grace survives in ordinary memories. From ashes in July, new flowers still grow. After all the ice clinking in a glass, brushes dancing with the bass. Friday night at Murphy's bar. Old Tommy talks too loud, claims he nearly played for the Yankees. Joe still flirts with every waitress, even though he's pushing 83. Frank forgets the punchlines, but never forgets your name. And Earl still swears his third ex-wife was the only one to blame. We ain't famous, ain't rich, ain't anything the headlines print. Just a bunch of weather-beaten souls trying to make some sense of it. We've made mistakes worth mentioning, and a few we'd rather not. But mercy seems to visit every time this jukebox starts. We're just bar stool saints with nicotine halos, singing old soul records through the midnight radio. We've all been broken, we've all been bruised, trying to laugh louder than the bad news. Barstool saints, a little rough around the grace. Tommy paid a stranger's dinner when he thought nobody saw. Joe drove 3 hours through a snowstorm to help his brother-in-law. Frank still brings flowers to the graveyard every spring, and Earl cries during Christmas movies, though he'll deny the whole damn thing. You won't find statues built for men like these, no history books to read, but the world keeps turning softer because of little deeds. Some heroes wear uniforms, some wear work boots stained with paint, and some just show up every Friday night to ask if you're okay. We're just barstool saints with whiskey in our veins, keeping each other standing when life forgets our names. We've lost lovers, lost jobs, lost more than we admit, but we still raise a glass to survive in all of it. Barstool saints, still believing in people. Nobody taught us how to grow old. We just figured it out together. One borrowed lawnmower, one hospital visit, one ride to the airport, one phone call after midnight, one, "Hey buddy, you doing all right?" at a time. We're just barstool saints, not angels by design, just ordinary dreamers trying to be kind. We've all said things we wish we could undo, but love ain't perfection. It's showing up for each other when there's nothing left to prove. Barstool saints, laughing through the pain.
Barstool saints,
Barstool saints, still buying one more round.
Barstool saints.
Thank God you came. The guitars you came. The guitar trades. The guitar trades. Oh yeah. The guitar trades. The guitar trades came. The guitar trades, phrases with the sax, brushes dancing with the bass. Friday night at Murphy's bar. Oh, Tommy talks too loud, claims he nearly played for the Yankees. Joe still flirts with every waitress, even though he's pushing 83. Frank forgets the punchlines, but never forgets your name. And Earl still swears his third ex-wife was the only one to blame. We ain't famous, ain't rich, ain't anything the headlines print. Just a bunch of weather-beaten souls trying to make some sense of it. We make mistakes worth mentioning, and a few we'd rather not. But mercy seems to visit every time this jukebox starts. We're just barstool saints with nicotine halos, singing old soul records through the midnight radio. We've all been broken, we've all been bruised, trying to laugh louder than the bad news. Barstool saints, a little rough around the grease. Tommy paid a stranger's dinner, but when he thought nobody saw, Joe drove 3 hours through a snowstorm to help his brother-in-law. Frank still brings flowers to the graveyard every spring, and Earl cries during Christmas movies, though he'll deny the whole damn thing. We ain't famous, ain't rich, ain't anything the headlines print. Just a bunch of weather-beaten souls trying to make some sense of it. We've made mistakes worth mentioning, and a few we'd rather not. But mercy seems to fit.
Through the quiet, the guitar phrase floating above it, the distant sound of a city waking up. One last cigarette, one first ray of sunlight.
outside the all-night diner with coffee cooling in my hand. I watch the dark give up its secrets to the pale blue morning sky. The waitress flipped the sign to open, though she'd never really closed. A trucker stretched beside his rig, another long way left to go. Smoke curled toward the heavens, then disappeared from sight. Funny how everything keeps changing, even after the longest nights. I used to think survival meant pretending I was strong. Now I know sometimes it means simply staying long enough to hear the birds sing. It's a cigarette sunrise, burning gold through the gray. Proof that broken people still get another day. No fireworks, no grand parade,
No grand parade.
just a quiet kind of grace. A cigarette sunrise, lighten up this weathered face, and somehow that's enough. The young man at the counter talked about moving west, said he was chasing something bigger, trying to outrun his regrets. I almost told him, son, the road won't fix your heart. Then I remembered, everybody's got to learn certain lessons in the dark. I paid for both our breakfasts. He thanked me with surprise. Maybe kindness is contagious at 6:35. Hope doesn't always arrive with trumpets and applause. Sometimes it sits beside you in silence while the coffee grows cold. It's a cigarette sunrise, soft against the blue, telling tired souls they've still got things to do. One more laugh, one more song, one more chance to try. Oh, cigarette sunrise,
Cigarette sunrise.
reflected in old eyes, and somehow I still believe. I thought aging meant becoming smaller, but these days I feel my heart expanding, for strangers, for old friends, for younger versions of myself who are just doing their best. Maybe healing isn't dramatic. Maybe it's waking up and deciding to love life again before breakfast. It's a cigarette sunrise,
Shining through the haze
thanking all the heartbreak
that taught me how to stay.
for every closed door, every goodbye,
Every goodbye.
every tear I couldn't hide. There was always another morning waiting on the other side. It's a cigarette sunrise, and this old soul can see life never promised easy, only possibility. A cigarette sunrise,
cigarette sunrise,
still finding me. A cigarette burns down to the filter. The coffee cup is finally empty. The city opens its eyes. A tired man stands up, leaves a few dollars on the counter, and heads toward the parking lot. The sun rests warm upon his shoulders. For the first time in years, morning doesn't feel like something to survive. It feels like an invitation to begin again.
The summer breeze, the distant sound of crickets beneath a southern moon, two rocking chairs, one old love. We don't dance much these days. These knees ain't what they used to be. But every evening after supper, you still save a seat for me. The porch boards creak beneath us, same as they always have. You lean your head against my shoulder, and the whole world slows in half. We don't talk about forever, not anymore. We just talk about tomatoes, the weather, and what the neighbors are up to. Funny how love changes shape. Once it burned like wildfire, now it glows like coal. Steady enough to warm a lifetime. In this front porch moonlight, you still look beautiful to me. Silver in your hair, soft lines around your dreams. No grand declarations, no need to prove a thing. Just your hand finding mine as the evening settles in. Front porch moonlight, I wouldn't trade this love for anything. You still laugh at the same old stories, even when I tell them wrong. Still sing harmony beneath your breath whenever the radio plays our song. We've buried parents, raised children, cried over bills we couldn't pay. And somehow, through all the ordinary chaos, you stayed. I know where you keep the sugar, you know how I take my tea. Maybe intimacy is simply being deeply known and deeply loved anyway. Youth taught us passion, age taught us devotion, and I think devotion might be the greater miracle. In this front porch moonlight, the years fall gently away. I still catch myself smiling
just two stubborn hearts choosing each other every night. Front porch moonlight still feels brand new. One day, one of us will have to learn how to sit in this chair alone. I know that, you know that, but tonight the coffee is warm, the moon is full, and your fingers are wrapped around mine. So let tomorrow wait. In this front porch moonlight, I thank God for the view, for all the roads that led me back home to you, for every argument forgiven, every storm we made it through, for all the quiet Tuesdays nobody writes songs about. Front porch moonlight, soft against the blue. The older that I get, the more I understand that the greatest blessing was never finding perfection, it was finding you. Front porch moonlight, stay a little longer, stay a little longer, stay a little longer. Oh, stay a little longer. The distant sound of crickets beneath a southern moon, two rocking chairs, one old love. We don't dance much these days, these knees ain't what they used to be, but every evening after supper you still save a seat for me. The porch boards creak beneath us, same as they always have. You lean your head against my shoulder, and the whole world slows in half. We don't talk about forever, not anymore. We just talk about tomatoes, the weather, and what the neighbors are up to. Funny how love changes shape. Once it burned like wildfire, now it glows like coal, steady enough to warm a lifetime. In this front porch moonlight, you still look beautiful to me. Silver in your hair, soft lines around your dreams. No grand declarations, no need to prove a thing, just your hand finding mine as the evening settles in. The front porch moonlight, we don't dance much these days, these knees ain't what they used to be, but every